World War I changed the political, social, and economic conditions of the entire world. Economies were drained and boundaries shifted. The German and Austro-Hungarian empires ceased to exist. Much of Eastern Europe was reconfigured along ethno-linguistic lines, and Hungary, Poland, Lithuania, Latvia, Estonia, and Finland became independent countries. Several other nations were haphazardly combined into the countries of Yugoslavia and Czechoslovakia. A major reorganization of the Middle East also took place, styling the countries later known as Armenia, Turkey, Syria, Lebanon, and Saudi Arabia and Iraq. Many historians believe that the Allies were excessive in their punishment of Germany after the war and that the harsh terms of the Treaty of Versailles, rather than creating peace, actually created bitterness among the countries in the Central Powers, especially Germany. And although Germany ultimately paid only a small percentage of the reparations, the country's economy was already stretched thin from the war, so the additional economic burden caused further resentment. Extremist groups such as the Nazi Party exploited this humiliation and took political control of the country during the next 2 decades. After the outbreak of World War I, ocean voyage became dangerous. To keep war materials from getting through to Britain, German submarines known as U-boats constantly patrolled British waters in search of approaching vessels. On January 8, 1918, 9 months after the United States entered World War I, President Woodrow Wilson went before Congress and presented his program for peace, which became known as the 14 Points. In it, Wilson outlined the basic principles he believed would bring about a just and lasting peace among the nations of the world. The 14 Points are significant because they translate many elements of American domestic reform known as progressivism into foreign policy. Wilson argued that morality and ethics, not self-interest, serve as the basis for a democratic society's foreign policy. The program made clear that America's goals for the war differed from those that motivated France, Italy, and Great Britain. The United States, unlike its European allies, did not have imperial ambitions, designs on European territory, or desires for monetary reparations. The 14 Points profoundly affected the outcome of the war, the peace negotiations at the Paris Peace Conference of 1919, and the Treaty of Versailles. Okay, I'm going to quickly summarize the 14 points. Wrong thing. Really quickly, though. Point 1. An end to secret treaties and the beginning of open arguments among nations. 2. Freedom of the seas. 3. Free international trade. 4. A reduction of armaments, which are, like, for example, military weapons and equipment. Okay. Number 5 is an impartial adjustment of colonial claims to respect the rights of both the colonizers and the colonized. Number 6 is the evacuation of foreign forces of Russian territory. 7th, evacuation of Belgium. 8 is the evacuation of French territory and the return of Alsace-Lorraine to France. Number 9 is the redefinition of Italian frontiers. Number 10 is the autonomy for Austria and Hungary. Number 11 is the evacuation of Romania, Serbia, and Montenegro, and security for the Balkan states. Number 12 is the self-determination of the peoples of the Turkish Empire. Number 13, independence for Poland. And 14, the formation of a general association of nations. Because Wilson knew his allies and Europe's neutral states would not be in favor of all of his points, he decided not to consult with those allies and states prior to his speech before Congress. Great Britain, for instance, would surely be wary of the second, freedom of the seas point. The island nation had long relied on the strength of its navy and its control, and so, honestly, it sort of weakened Britain in a way, according to the 14 points, Britain would, for example, be unable to repeat the blockade of Germany that had successfully weakened that nation. Okay. Oh, shoot. Okay. After the war, the Paris Peace Conference, which was convened by the Allies, hammered out the terms of the peace treaties, including the Treaty of Versailles, signed on June 28, 1919, and officially ended the war with Germany. Among its 440 articles were demands that Germany accept full responsibility for causing the war, pay heavy economic reparations to Allied countries, and lose territory and much of its rights to develop military. Other treaties were created for other countries, but the Treaty of Versailles is most important because Germany were considered the instigators of the war. The Treaty of Versailles also included articles that established a League of Nations, which is an international peacekeeping organization like the one first advocated by Wilson in a speech to Congress in the year before, 1918. The treaty specified the rules and requirements of membership. However, joining the League ran counter to the traditional views of many members of Congress who preferred. Overall, the treaties heavily demilitarized Germany and hurt the economy of the most Central Powers. And that's the end for World War I. I hope y'all can understand what I'm saying. I can tell that there's a lot of static. Sorry about that. World War I also increased women's status. And that's Hayden Peak logging off. Forgot to mention, there's my works. There's worksite and there's worksite, in case y'all want to, go view the websites, which y'all probably won't. That's the end. Bye.